Bev again with another video, two-part video. First part is going to be on alcohol and its effect on your weight gain or weight loss. And the second part is going to be another motorcycle story from my 400,000 kilometer history, okay? I've been in 5 different countries on bikes. This one is going to be a North American story. And I'm going to try and keep the video fairly short for you millennials who don't seem to have any kind of attention span. Okay, alcohol. Alcohol is really just another poison that has to be dealt with by your body. So your liver has to metabolize it, and your kidneys have to filter it out, okay? So you make these organs really busy. It's acidic, it's acid forming, and if you watch my other videos, then you know anything acid forming is inflammatory to your body, and it will create toxic waste that your body has to deal with. How does it deal with it? If it has too much of it, it doesn't want it near healthy cells, so it stores it in fat cells. That's great unless you don't have enough fat cells, and then it just makes more, right? So it adds to fat cell triglyceride counts, all right? This is not good. It is also dehydrating. It's a diuretic, and it affects your kidneys. And the higher the alcohol content in what you're drinking, then the more dehydrating it will be. And that's because your kidneys have to flush out its water reserves in order to deal with the alcohol, okay? So it also affects exercise performance and endurance, okay? There's a lot of other stuff, but I'm just putting that. But you know what? We all drink alcohol, right? We have a good time. Now, and hopefully in moderation, right? You can look up the rules nationally, what moderation is, how many drinks a day or a week or whatever. But what is alcohol? Okay? Now, because it's not pure water, it's got to be a macronutrient. Is it fat? No. Is it protein? No. Well, it's got to be carbohydrates. And yes, that's what it is. But it travels along different biochemical pathways in your body compared to food macronutrients, okay? And this is the interesting thing. So carbohydrates, you know, when you count calories, they are 4 calories per gram. And same thing with protein, right? Fat is higher at 9. But as I said, it doesn't react the same way in your body as other carbs. And in fact, because of that, it's 7 calories per gram, which is getting up there, right? It's getting near fat, which is 9. Normally, macronutrient carbohydrates get converted into glucose energy, right? We all know this. But alcohol, that's not true. It gets directly converted into fatty acids. Okay, and beer is even worse because it has a grain in it. So it has maltose sugar in it. So it's kind of a double whammy, you know, because you've got to consider that it's a carbohydrate, the maltose, and that's 4 calories per gram. So welcome to beer bellies, right? What I want to say is that the sugar and the starch in the booze provides that 7 calories per gram, right? You've got to take it into consideration. And there's nothing else in it. There's no nutritive value in alcohol. It's straight sugar, no nutrients, right? It's just the alcohol providing, you know, the calories, right? So if you drink a lot, you're going to have to count at least 7 calories a gram, right? If you're counting calories daily. Now, if you're really serious about losing weight, if you want to go to a wedding or whatever the story is, then you should lay off all alcohol for 3 months. You're going to see a huge difference in your body. You're going to sleep a lot better, and you're going to look a hell of a lot better. As you know, wine is a form of sugar. It's made from grapes, obviously. Beer spikes insulin hormone levels, And it's actually higher than beer is a super carb, and it's worse than white bread, okay? And hard liquor, it may not have any fructose sugar in it, but you know, most of the time you're adding soda pop, right? And so that's going to kick into a sugar hit. So what I would say, two things. Drink water when you're in between your alcoholic drinks, okay? That's going to help the dehydration effect. And eat food whenever you're drinking alcohol, because that's going to slow down the alcohol absorption that is needed by your body. Okay? Now, the last time I told you a motorcycle story, the last couple of videos, it was a Nigerian motorcycle story, right? Well, I've got some North American ones too. So this is a North American bike story. So back in 2008, my husband and I, he has a bike, I have a bike, we decided that we were going to circumvent the States. It was about 20,000 kilometers on this trip. And we started off across the northern states, and we ended up, we went down to South Dakota because we wanted to go into Sturgis, which is a big bike rally, right? In fact, Sturgis normally has 5,000 people, and in Bike Rally Week, I think it's early August, I've forgotten now, 300,000 bikes appear from all over North America, so it is really busy. And let me tell you, if I have to look at another 90-year-old guy in a leather G-string, no thanks. But anyway, we went to Sturgis, we passed through, we were going west, and my brother had told me, oh, you can't consider yourself a real biker unless you camp. So we were carrying camping gear, you know, a little camping tent for two, blah, blah. Anyway, we got to Cody, Wyoming, and they had this little campground. And I mean, it was a little campground. It didn't take a lot of tents, and everybody was pretty close to everybody, right? So anyway, we set up the tent, and there were a lot of Harley bikers around, guys, right? Because they were going the other way to Sturgis. We had already been there, and they were going that way, right? So they were all out, you know, drinking and hallebalooing around. And so I said to Dave, my husband, well, you know what? I don't want to be hit in the middle of the night with one of these bikes. So let's put our bikes on either side of our tent, and then we'll be safe. Anyway, so we parked these bikes and we went to bed, and lo and behold, early in the morning, from behind us, this couple that had pulled in behind us, they were in a tent. Oh my God, they were going at it for, I don't know, 40 minutes, and she was moaning and groaning and carrying on. I was thinking, boy, maybe I'll visit that tent after. But anyway, she was moaning and groaning, and my husband called it the opera of ecstasy, right? So anyway, we were listening to this. It's kind of embarrassing. And all of the tents could hear this because this was a small little campground, right? Kind of like a big backyard. And that's because in the States, nobody camps, right? They were all in big RVs. So anyway, early in the morning, okay, this went on. When it was over, Dave unzips the tent, and he goes out, and all he sees is from the Harley guys, right? And then I get out. Oh my God, they thought it was us, of course. And I'm like, no, it was that couple. No. Anyway, it was a bit embarrassing. But we continued on our trip. We went across the Continental Divide. You know, we ended up on the West Coast. And if I want to show you this trip, I've got a map here, just so that you know what types of trips we've been on. I don't know if you can see this closely enough, but these are all our various trips. And the trip that I'm talking about is this red one. So this is South Dakota, and then we went, this is Wyoming, and we went up across the divide down, you know, we saw the Grand Canyon, blah, blah, and we Memphis, Nashville, and everything. Anyway, there's tons of different trips, and I've got a ton of stories, okay? So I'll see you in the next video, and don't forget to buy my book. Alrighty. Bye for now.